New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev BRZ and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Reverend Robert with you here. It's a Friday morning. It's 7 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for Ministers Talking Shit. I'm grateful you're with us. Rev Z is traveling today to a weekend memorial for a family member, so we wish him all the best and send our love and safe travels to him and his family as they gather to memorialize one of their own. All right. Uh, well, here we are, folks. A conversation I really don't want to have today, but I'm going to have it because there's no other way around it. I woke up this morning and started to scan the news stories of the week. It happened again last night. A man walked into a house in Houston, brandishing an automatic weapon, semi-automatic pistol. With several magazines of ammo, and shot 4 people, one of which was his ex-wife. 2 people are dead, his ex-wife 1, 2 others in the hospital in critical condition, all at the hands of a handgun. Now, I've heard the argument countless times that guns don't kill people, but people that would kill people would have a harder time if they didn't have access to guns. Plain and simple. I personally am still recovering mentally from the shooting last Saturday at Club Q in my adopted home state of Colorado. I'm not in Colorado at the moment, and I wasn't in Colorado when it happened. And yet, that doesn't change the hurt. It doesn't change the hurt that, once again, it's being proven how incredibly easy it is for people to get their hands on a gun and use them in horrific ways. Details are still emerging on the Club Q shooting. Defense attorney has said that the shooter was non-binary. Not exactly sure how that's a defense, and I'm waiting to see how this unfolds. And there are heroes that have emerged from that story. Virginia, haven't heard of any heroes just yet. Virginia this week, 5 Walmart workers at the hands of their manager, as he had an semi-automatic pistol with several magazines. And those killings appear to be targeted. However, the gunman took his own life, and therefore we won't be able to discern exactly his motives in all of this. And there are 5 people, one of which is 16 years old. Those that have been killed in that shooting range from 15 to 70. Take that in. And that is the 3rd mass murder in Virginia this month, the month of November. It's almost as if we've forgotten the 3 football players at the University of Virginia that were killed by a ex-teammate earlier this month. That was only about 2 weeks ago, folks. In a time when we're supposed to be celebrating family, at a time when this country is supposed to be celebrating a sense of gratitude, we just keep killing each other. And yes, this reality needs to change. And we are part of the change. I, I want to live. I do. I live in a state of gratitude so often. But it's really hard to find the gratitude in these types of stories. And they just keep coming up, folks. Again and again and again and again. It has become far too easy to get a gun in this country. And our culture, heck, we could trace this back to the wild, wild west, right? To the old west. Our culture is to solve our problems by squeezing a trigger. That has to end. Now, the good news is, I believe that we can put a stop to all this. I really do believe that we can shift the way the culture of this country is going, the way the culture on this planet is moving. Japan seems to be doing okay with a culture that doesn't include guns. New Zealand seems to be doing okay with a culture without guns. Many European countries have far less gun violence and a culture where guns are not the answer, where they're not available on almost every street corner, where you can walk around town wearing them on your hip. Guns for sustenance, guns for sport. And they say, and I have to bring it forward, right? The only thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Nope. Turns out what stops a bad guy with a gun is a drag queen with a high heel. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody needed a gun to stop what happened at Club Q. Don't know that anybody with a gun could have stopped what happened in the Virginia Walmart, where if one of those football players had been carrying a gun at Virginia Tech, more guns is not the answer. Just like more roads is not the answer to traffic, more guns is not the answer to gun violence. But here we are on another Friday morning having this conversation, reflecting. And I know that it seems like there's so little that we can do. I mean, what can we do? Start yelling at the NRA? Start lobbying our politicians to take away the NRA's tax-exempt status? That's not going to stop Browning and other gun manufacturers. Now, stopping the NRA is not a bad idea, in my opinion, from my perspective. However, I think there's something bigger that's happening. I think there's something bigger emerging, and I think that is a vision of a culture where guns are irrelevant or unnecessary. A culture where we come. Now, there's a lot of things entwined here, right? Number one, we've got to take away the stigma of admitting that we all have mental frailties at points in our life. I had a deep, good discussion with a trusted advisor recently, my 17-year-old, and we were talking about mental illness as a pervasive experience in someone's life, and mental illness sort of like a common cold. I have an experience where I don't feel mentally well, or I'm emotionally upset, or I get a little bit of depression, or this, that, and it's something that we move beyond. And then there's the chronic experiences that never seem to go away. Mental health is not something to be pushed aside. And far too many people think it a failure to see a therapist or talk to a psychologist. And in many ways, those professions have priced themselves out of the reach of far too many in our country. I think the time has come to let's normalize our mental health experiences. I remember when I got into the workforce, they there was a joke, and maybe it's still happening out there, that if you wanted an extra day off, just call in sick and claim it as a mental health day. And before I start to really explore human consciousness, okay, it's a mental health day. Yeah, I just need a day to have fun, to get out of the grind. But if the work that we are doing causes us mental distress to the point where we need a day away, there's something wrong with the work we're doing. And perhaps time to consider what kind of other work we might do, how else we might enjoy this thing called life. If the stress of your family life is piling up on top of you, if stress of if you're an entrepreneur and the stress of success is piling up on you, we cannot wait until we need a day. We have to incorporate our mental health, our mental fitness needs to be an everyday job. Just like our physical fitness needs to be an everyday experience, an everyday event. Our mental health needs to be an everyday event. Now, I feel really blessed. And if you're watching this program, you should too, because you already know one of the primary keys to mental health, and that's daily spiritual practice. Every day, to be in a place where we can take time and reflect and meditate and pray. That's what New Thought is all about. This philosophy that we teach, that we believe, that we strive to live in every moment. The key is right here. The power of our own mind to change and control the conditions of our lives and the experiences that we see, that we have. You have that ability within you. Everyone does. The power of a spiritual mind treatment, the power of affirmative prayer, the power of a positive mental attitude, an outlook. And so I could spend this weekend in deep grief and sorrow and accusation around all these senseless killings and all this senseless violence that we see. Or I could spend the weekend affirming a greater truth, envisioning a greater truth, praying a greater truth, meditating upon a greater truth, a world where guns are unnecessary. Big guns, long guns, little guns, pistols, rifles, cannons, artillery, nuclear weapons. A vision of a world where everyone is committed to solving our problems through the power of the mind rather than the power of the might. I think it is the mighty in heart, the mighty in the mind that shall prevail, not those mighty in muscle or arms or weapons. And perhaps there's a both and, a prayer to move beyond and change our reality, as well as the determination to stand up and let our voices be heard, let our numbers be counted. Let the world know that as Americans, we're changing. We're done. We're done with the senseless shooting. We're done with the this year in the United States of America, there have been on average two mass shootings every day. This isn't just something that happens anymore, folks. This isn't an anomaly anymore. This is everyday life. In our schools and our churches and our shopping centers, in our homes, on the bus. I saw an article yesterday, and its theory was that this madness will not stop until this madness has literally touched every household and every family and every one. I don't want that. I don't want that future. I don't believe that we need to continue this experience, that this behavior needs to continue until everyone in this country has been touched by a gun-related death. When everyone can say, yeah, I lost a brother or a sister or a mother or a father or a friend or a lover to gun violence. I feel incredibly blessed and grateful that I cannot say that right now, that I have not had that experience, that I do not have to live with the trauma of knowing someone was taken by a senseless act of gun violence. I hope you never have to either. And I do believe that is part of the work we are here to do, to end this madness, to put a stop to it once and for all. And so, as I often say on this show, write to your senators, call your representatives, call your senators. Let us, as a country, let it be known that we want to see a comprehensive gun control legislation in the United States. I don't believe the government is here to take your weapons. I believe it's time for the people to stand up and demand the destruction of these weapons. I think it's time for the people of this country to demand the end to the end of private gun ownership, to the end of private gun sales, to the end of gun shows. Every time I see a billboard for a gun show, I'm just disgusted. An industry built upon celebrating instruments of death. It's got to stop. Folks, the next time your community has a gun show, call your mayor, call your legislators. Tell them you don't want to see that in your community. Tell them you don't want to see the celebration of weapons of death in your local community center or arena. We only have one more option, and that's for every household to be touched by gun violence. So take your choice. Do we stand up and shout it from the rooftops that we're done, we're tired, we want to see no more of this? Or will we sit around and imagine that it's all going to take care of itself, that it'll figure itself out, that it'll work itself out? As we prepare to come into the end of this year, as we prepare for the holiday season, which is now upon us, we're fully fledged into the holiday season. Got about 40 some odd days left of this year. That means we're on average for 80 more mass shootings before this year is over. Don't let your community be one of those. Don't let it be your supermarket. Don't let it be your movie theater. Don't let it be your gym. Don't let it be your church or synagogue or house of worship. Don't let it be your family. Call your politicians. Write the letters. And yes, pray. Pray deeply. Pray unceasingly. Be in a constant state of prayer that we live in a safe world, in a world that is free of gun violence. Pray unceasingly that we live in a world where everyone receives the mental help they need, regardless of cost or price or ability to pay. Let's pray unceasingly that we once again start to embrace our neighbors and our friends and everyone we encounter as someone, as a divine expression of God, rather than the next potential shooter. Let's pray that we can walk our streets without looking over our shoulders. The time is here, folks, and today is that day. And I know this isn't our normal, joking, jovial show, the normal way this program happens. But I'm tired. Tired of being concerned every time I walk out in public. I'm tired. I'm tired of even the smallest wondering thought of when I'm going to hear that news that it was another school or another supermarket. So I'm going to do my prayer work to reaffirm that we do live in a world that's working, to reaffirm that we are each safe and secure in our homes, in our schools, in our churches, in the places we visit, in the restaurants we patronize, in all the places we congregate, in our parks, in our playgrounds, in our mountains, and in our deserts, and everywhere we go. And from my view, the one key, the one interlocking aspect of this all is just how easy it is to get guns. Guns kill people in the hands of people. And if we take those guns out of those people's hands, those guns won't be able to kill people. On this Friday following Thanksgiving 2022, I thank you for being with me. I thank you for sticking around. And I thank you for your prayers, for being a part of this change. This reality needs to change, and it begins. And I believe it has already begun. I believe that the actions of the events of this week are pushing more and more people into the understanding that this reality is changing, and we are the agents of that change. We are the ones that make that change happen. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Now it's time we do our work. Now is the time we change the way it looks. Now is the time that we begin the elimination of terms like mass shootings and mass murders in our lives. Now is your time. It's your time to make your choice. Which vision of the future shall you serve? Are we headed for Mad Max 22, Mad Max 23, Mad Max 24? Or are we going to do the heavy lifting of in consciousness and in form of creating a world where guns are irrelevant, unnecessary, and no longer exist, and are nothing but a memory? That's the future I envision. That's the future I pray. A world where guns are irrelevant, unnecessary, and truly nothing more than a memory of our barbaric past that we have long ago left behind. I invite you to join me on that. I invite you to join me on a journey of peace and a vision of a world that works for all, without violence, free from hatred, and free of guns. There it is, folks. Friday morning. Thank you, Linda. Good to see you. Thank you for being with us this morning. Whether you're watching this live or watching it on a replay, thank you for being with us. Feel free to chat along, drop a comment, or let us know what you think. You can send an email to minister. Send it to info. There it is, right? Minister Talk. Yeah. You can send an email to ministertalk@ntmedia.org. Let us know if there's other subjects you'd like us to cover or what you think about this one. I'm Rev Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now. But I invite you to stick around because we have a full day of programming here on New Thought Media Network. Coming up in just 15 minutes, Sacred Rights would Be Your Own Hero. 8:15, it's morning prayer. 8:30, it's Rev Melissa with Morning Sip. 9 o'clock, it's 40 days of, they're starting a new 40 day. If you haven't heard about the 40-day program, give me another minute. This is really fun. It's every day, Monday through Friday, weekdays, 9 o'clock, 15 minutes. The program is our 40-day journeys. And I think we just finished the 40 days of love and are about to start another one. And I don't know if we're doing it today or Monday, but we've got the new one coming. And it's 15 minutes, but half of it is in English and half of it is in Spanish. So if you're out there trying to learn Spanish, it's a great program. If you already speak Spanish, it's an even better program. That's with practitioner Emma Moreno, and that happens at 9 a.m. So join us for that. 10 o'clock is Lindsay Leinbach with Practicing Infinite Possibilities. The Joy Show with Rev B starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon. At 5 o'clock, it's the good news. I'll be back with the good news for the weekend. And at 6, it's Pastor Michael Mangus with the Fireside Chat. All that leads us back to evening prayers at 8:15. So we've got a great full day of programming today here on New Thought Media Network. We thank you for being a part of that. Invite you to share and like our videos. Let your friends know what we're doing. Before we go today, I want to take a quick half minute to say thank you to those that make this financially possible as well. Don't go anywhere. Please join me in a quick thank you. On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings. Yes, thank you folks for being a part of New Thought Media Network and what we're doing here. I'm Rev Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now. Let you get into your morning. Please do, as I often say, share, like, subscribe. Let your friends know what we're doing. Let your family know what we're doing. Let's get some more people on board with what we're doing here, because we really are creating a world that works for all. We really are creating a world. Okay, I'm going to get that line out today. Yeah, we really are creating a world that works for all. I love you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, I wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.